So this is Matt's Fast Podcast, episode 4. I have a special guest with me, Miss Megan, from the real estate world, and we're going to ask her a couple questions. We're going to find out who she is and hopefully have a couple rants or two.
Sounds good. I'm in.
So I guess I wanted to start this off with saying thanks for coming here. We'll tell people how we met weirdly and bread, milk, and honey, but I do want to start with your story, who you are, and basically what you do.
Okay. I work for Ashcroft. I'm a sales consultant. I started out there in September. I basically got into that world because my dad is a realtor and he's been in the business for 35 years. And I just thought I would always end up there eventually. And I love new homes, not particularly as big of a fan of the resale options out there. So I fell in love with Ashcroft and they ended up having a position available, and that's that.
That's the story.
Yeah.
And
Came from Calgary.
3 years, you said?
Yeah, I was in Calgary and I was just like working in the restaurant industry, teaching fitness classes, and ultimately not knowing like what is my career going to be, but knowing that real estate was in the back of my mind. So I went for it. And
how would you say that basically the real estate world is different than the other industries that you were in? Because from us as a marketing company, it's a lot different. And the marketing of some of these other realtors, in Lethbridge and Calgary or wherever, sometimes they don't follow what they actually probably should do. They treat it like it is its own world, but at the end of the day, it's a widget, and you should treat it like a widget, I think. But I could be freaking wrong here. But
restaurants all have their own marketing person, and with what I'm doing, I'm kind of marketing myself all the time.
Right.
So you're always a representative of your company. If you're working at a restaurant, like you work your shift and then you just go home and you're done.
Yeah.
But in my world, you're working all the time.
Your phone's always ringing.
Yeah, and it's always with me. I don't go very far from it.
Guess that's the same thing.
Yeah.
So you guys got your phones on you? Everybody? No. So Ashcroft, basically, you're working for them. You're doing the marketing and stuff like that, or just for yourself, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And I see that your page has its own, like your name and then Ashcroft. And why did you do that? I know we had this conversation, but
yeah, well, I thought I would, represent myself as someone that people should want to work with, and then just show who I am as a person. So I'm not just like on my social media stuff, I'm not just showing our houses, I'm showing things about my life too, because I hope that it makes me more approachable. I love my dog, and I love being outside, and I love doing all these
like a personal
Lethbridge
brand
things. Yeah, exactly. Just going off of the business side and the personal side all in one.
Right.
But not on Facebook. My Facebook is just Ashcroft stuff.
What you're doing with your Instagram is actually something that a lot of the team, we kind of work on that, and even I'm working on it. We've had these talks before in every podcast. We basically talked about this. People need to know you, and then because you're kind of your own brand regardless, for within Ashcroft. And people need a face to that. People need to see that you're still a person. Like when you post a picture of you with your dog, that's, you're a person. You have a family. You have a little dog. Like
not just a sales robot.
Yeah, you're not just a you're not just a sales robot. You're actually a person, and that's good for, I guess, your world. Which, in my experience, and I won't say who or whatever, but I'm floored when people don't want to, tell people they have kids, or they have a dog, or they have a wife or a husband, or so on and so forth. Because if I was buying a house, I want to buy a house from somebody who has that. I never want to buy a minivan, but if I was in the market for a Dodge Caravan, I would want to buy that from someone who uses it, not, a 21-year-old single guy that is trying to just make a commission off of me.
Absolutely.
Tell me what's up. Tell me how to use it. Show me where the baby clips are, so on and so forth. I don't have any kids, but Sky could probably fit in a baby seat or rip it up or
same
whatever.
Boat here.
Yeah. What's your dog's name?
Riley. Yeah. He's
Riley.
8, so he has puppy mannerisms, but senior dog through and through. As soon as we get home, he just flops on the couch, and that's all he wants to do.
I wish.
Yeah, he's perfect. He's the perfect dog.
I can trade you. You can have Sky for 2 months and I'll take Riley. No problem.
Yeah.
Sky is like just crazy.
All the time?
All the time. All the time. All the time. So what is different with your marketing, what you're doing than, let's say, Sally So-So and Jojo Bobo? These guys are going to make more cameos in the vlogs and stuff because those guys just made a cameo in the last vlog than the other realtors in Lethbridge and Southern Alberta and stuff like that, because it is different and it's working. And we've talked about a couple other little things that you're working on that hopefully we get to do, and those will be very, very cool because they are unique and nobody's doing them.
Yeah.
But what are some of the different things that you want to do or that you are doing that?
I'm taking a note from people that I am following, like in Edmonton and even LA and New York and those kind of realtors. And, Lethbridge just doesn't have anyone doing those things for the most part. So I'm just trying to get a little bit ahead of things. And because I'm not a licensed realtor, I am a sales consultant for the builder. So the other people that I work with haven't had maybe the need to try out those different things because they have a lot of traffic in their areas, and I'm trying to grow a business differently because I'm in Coaldale. In Coaldale, for the most part, I do sell homes in Lethbridge and stuff like that, but in Coaldale I have to try a lot harder to get people to come in.
Right.
Because they don't know what's out there.
But those houses that you're selling over there are beautiful. Those front lots, you can you play a football game on those.
Back onto the golf course.
Oh yeah, it's a whole
60
You guys
feet
haven't
backyard.
looked at some of these houses, you roll up and you can fit 2 cars vertically before you even hit the house. It's crazy. Yeah. And that's just because of how big of the lots that you get in Coaldale, right?
Bigger driveway, bigger garage.
So what you're saying is that maybe the bus station ads aren't that effective?
I don't know. I think some of them are still finding that they work. It's interesting because with my dad being in real estate for so long, 35 years, he is still doing all that old school marketing, the Focus magazine and stuff like that. And he's never posted a Kijiji ad or anything like that. And he's still selling houses because there is a different type
Probably a lot of word of mouth though, no?
Yeah, there's a different type of buyer out there that stuff applies to, but I'm looking to branch out and kind of reach everyone.
I think what you're doing is probably I don't know what the word would be, the more up-to-date, cleaner way to do it.
Thanks.
And if Ashcroft is doing any of these, I'm not picking on you, but the bus station ads, they work for some things, but they don't work for JoJo's whatever, the realtor, I don't think. Because for the amount of money that, when you see this with Facebook, if we put $2,000 in Facebook into you, just on Facebook, everybody and their dog would hear about you in Lethbridge. That's a lot of money for Instagram, social, Facebook.
If you even put $100 in there.
Even $100. Oh yeah.
Reached.
Yeah. Well, my story thing, I got 22,000 impressions on the story I did.
Wow.
And it was, how much was it? $100 that we spent or something? And out of those 22,000, 11,000 people actually cared about it or clicked on it or anything like that. So that's pretty, you can't get that for $100. And we see the demographics of those people, which is good. But the old school stuff, I'm a pen guy. I still believe in that kind of stuff. But these, the billboards and stuff like that, I'm not a huge fan of.
I think that it just doesn't give you an opportunity to show who you are. Because if it's just your name and your slogan and probably an image of your face, well, they don't know if you know about the business, about the city, about, every single area. People can't tell that off a billboard.
I think keeping the photos too up to date. There's a few people that I've seen doing advertisements and their photos do not look anything like what they actually look like in person, which just floors me.
Yeah.
We've dealt with that a couple times in rebranding some companies, but you'll see a picture of them and that doesn't look anything like the guy or girl standing in front of me. Yeah. So keep that. There's a little Matt-ism. Keep that up to date. It's okay to get old. It's okay to change your hair. It's okay to, you need to look. You do a photo 8 years ago when you were 21, you probably don't look the same now, True. So I keep that stuff up to date, but
then there's people like you that just don't age. So if you never changed your
you're feeding an animal that you don't want to feed there.
Well, I'm the same way. I barely changed. I look at pictures of me when I was 17, 18, and I still look the same, and I'm just about 27 in a few weeks. So
So
not aging
we can
is
throw
okay.
one of those happy birthdays.
Yeah.
Because this won't air for, I don't know, a week or whatever. I think that, thanks for the compliment. I don't know what I should say now. I think updating that stuff is key though too, because I think I have changed. I mean, from the days that 10 years ago, I mean, we watched the video and it looks a little bit different, but keeping that stuff up to date and doing the fresh things, I think is really, really cool. What you're doing, I think even just what we talked about with what you wanted to do with some of the stuff that we might help you with, I think that's unique. All these guys are doing these videos around the houses or cookie cutter photos and stuff like that, but I mean, when you're selling houses and there's, like, I don't want to be held to this number, 350 realtors in Lethbridge or something.
There's about 300.
Yes.
Yeah.
300 some. I mean, we only have, we're not that big to have that many. So you have to differentiate yourself from everybody else. And I mean, you can have the best, billboards or advertising on the radio or whatever. You can have the best smile, you can have the clean cut pressed suit, but at the end of the day, so does everybody else. So you have to differentiate yourself from that in some way. And I think what you're kind of doing is that. And
I'm just guessing with most of it because I don't have a marketing background. So.
Well, marketing is almost all guessing, and then you get people that help you. But like at the beginning of what I said, everything's a widget. It kind of is, in the sense of some of the things that maybe sell, I don't know, it's an item. A phone or a shoe or a vehicle might work in your world too. The only difference is you're dealing with one of the most expensive purchases a person will ever buy.
Yes.
So
it's very important.
So you have to get those people in there walking through to see everything, and and also have people that don't waste your time. If I can't afford $1 million house, I don't even want to go look at one. That's just a waste of your time. So look at something you can actually do and afford, and not just on every Saturday, people go around and just start looking at houses that they can't afford. I mean, that's...
Especially nowadays with the mortgage rules.
Oh, yeah.
Interest rates and everything changing.
That thing changed everybody. Yeah, because it kicked you down from if you could afford a $400,000 house, now you can only afford a $320,000 house or something.
Yeah, it's a huge amount.
Yeah.
It depends.
But I think it's good. It makes people, they're held to what they can afford. There's a lot of people, and I even know people that I'm, friends with or acquaintances and stuff, and they overbought a house, and it's like, why do you want to be eating Ichiban and KD with ketchup? Oh, as Erica's smiling. KD with ketchup every day to have this house that you can afford, but just barely.
Yeah, if you change jobs, your lifestyle
Yeah,
changes.
I mean, I have a place. I like my place. It's nice for me in Sky. It's not huge. It's not small. I mean, it's nice, but I wouldn't get something that I didn't need. I don't need 6 bedrooms. I have 3 right now, and 2 of which are nothing. One has a coat hanger in it, and one
Your dog has its own room.
She does have her own room, yes. Bean's being spoiled that way. But don't overbuy what you can't afford. I wouldn't go buy a Lamborghini if I couldn't afford it. So why do that with houses? But that's, I guess, your guys' job to help people and weed them out. But $1 million houses, and I think a lot of people in your world too are kind of kicking down, even if they can afford that, are just getting what they need anyways. Smaller
They're being
houses.
more responsible.
Yeah. What's the from your world? How has that changed in the sense of, are you selling more of the 200 to 400s than the millions? Even if a person is approved for $1 million,
exactly.
They're probably
that's why we're looking forward to our new development on the south side, because we have all the duplexes.
And what's that name? Might as well plug it.
It's called Southbrook. it's pretty
That's
well
in
known
Coaldale?
By now. It's in Lethbridge. It's going to be kind of by Evergreen Golf Center, and not quite as far as that, but on the south side.
You know, Keegan knows.
Yeah, 43rd Street, Scenic Drive. There's going to be a new elementary school, first one in hundreds of years, I think.
Right.
So that's kind of what we've got coming up.
The last one,
all the duplexes. So those are a hot price point. Those are we don't know for sure yet, but hopefully something in the 270s to 290s kind of range. So
for a duplex?
Yeah, and they're brand new, all kitchen appliances included. So that's going to be a hot price point, because you're right, like the over even 400,000 and up is less and less and less.
And those are big houses too. Like if you're just a single person, or big house, you gotta heat that thing, and people are working all the time. Like nobody has time to do anything, so you're hardly at your house unless you have kids. And if you have kids, they're always off doing stuff, so on and so forth. And that's.
Yeah. The neighborhood I work in, Coaldale, is almost done though. There's only 3 houses left, so it's
That's
pretty
your guys'
crazy.
show home?
The show home is sold and they're taking possession this month. So I'll be moving across the street until that one sells, and then we have like 2 left after that. So yeah, it's just about done out there. It's a good neighborhood though. It's quiet.
So what are you doing, just you personally, for marketing yourself? Just you. Like what are you doing that's, I know we talked about what sets you different, but what are you actually doing? Like, are you doing Facebook? You doing Instagram? You doing Snap? You doing Twitter?
I don't use Snap as much, because I thought I would have at least one thing that was kind of private, and I thought Snapchat would be my thing that just only my friends can see, because like there is certain things that as a business person you don't want to put out, like when you're partying.
Yeah.
Like I don't party ever, but if there's that one time that I did and then someone judges me for it,
I
would like that to be in at least one spot where I don't have everyone looking. So Snapchat is my one private thing, and then I use Instagram and Facebook, and I have like a separate business page for my Facebook.
Are you doing
promotions.
boosting and stuff?
Yes, I boost posts usually at once a week.
Are you doing Twitter?
I don't use Twitter really. Like I
think
have
Twitter's
an account,
one of those things that everybody, even in this room, is just like, yeah, we do it, but it's like,
I have it.
Like nobody gets excited about it.
I stopped using Twitter like after I first got it, because I found that the same things were just being posted that people were already posting on Facebook and Instagram, and they were just share on all. So that's why I got bored, and I just stopped looking at it, because it was one more platform to check.
Only time that I find that Twitter is useful for me is if there's an accident, or there's a bridge close, or there's bad weather. All these radio stations are like on it, like instantly, and that's what I kind of look at it. But other than that, I mean, unless you're following some of these celebrities, I mean, it really doesn't.
Yeah, and they're posting everything that they are. I find that they post the same stuff on Instagram, but I like pictures.
Right.
So it's easier to see the pictures on Instagram than Twitter.
And it's a lot easier to visually. It's a lot more appealing than just reading. I mean,
that's what I find.
If you know how to read, it's probably a little easier. But the photos and videos, and even what we were finding with a lot of, even what Adam's doing with just videos itself, it's a lot. People are looking at those a lot more than just.
Videos are really good for
photos.
Engagement, right?
Yeah.
We found that with like our Ashcroft page, we posted stuff that had pictures in it, and we made it into a video, and like it was way better than just posting one photo and just putting a blurb. So that's why videos, I think, is the future of like all marketing things.
Are you guys doing video right now? Like the whole
that
drone
was just
thing?
No, that was like a slideshow.
Oh, okay.
Sort of thing, like with music, and then it was just like picture.
Like Movie Maker?
I don't know what she used. I didn't do it. But it was great because people were really engaging on it. They were really looking at it, and that's just the beginnings of things. So before you even actually do like a tour in there, that would be really cool.
Well, you get to see it, and even with videos of what I'm personally doing or what Brand Sam's doing, we get so many more engagements and views and stuff like that if it is a video, or even if Erica takes a photo and then Adam adds like a little. Like you just did one for the last podcast. It was a photo of me, and it had like my actual voice. There's no dirt on your shoulder, by the way. It's there you go. He adds that, and it just grabs your attention, right? Because you have to mix the two, and we're finding that kind of works for a lot of things. And I mean, I think a lot of your world is going to do a lot of that. One thing I'm surprised in your world is a lot of people don't do it. Like, they don't do nice photos of these places. They don't do a video. They don't introduce themselves. Or they, shoot on like an iPhone 4. And it's like, come on. Like, let's, like...
Yeah, I've seen some realtor photos lately where, like, there's a thumb in the picture.
Yeah, we won't name any, but I've seen the thumbs. I've seen the angles. I've seen the...
Selfie by accident where
you're
suddenly in the mirror.
Yeah,
you're suddenly in the picture in the bathroom.
Or just bad videos, or jokes that aren't jokes that should be said, or jokes that, don't make any sense. I mean, there's a time and a place for it. I mean, I joke all the time in my stuff, but that's just who the hell I am. But
I joke, but like I would be one to not make sense in a joke, so that's why I don't go there.
But if you're doing a walkthrough of a $1 million house, I don't think that
that's not the time and the place.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be bumping into stuff and taking photos of funny things in there or staging it funny. I mean, that's just not what I would do. But I guess that's why I'm not a realtor.
Yeah, you could appeal to someone different. You never know. All those different
Dracula.
things you got to try. Everything.
We'll add realtor to the res, yeah. So, I mean, all these people doing these, kind of lower quality kind of stuff. But the funny thing is sometimes it doesn't even hurt what they're doing. In our world, if we come out with a crappy product or something like that isn't appealing, or we make a video or a photo or do some social media that doesn't work, or merch that doesn't work, I mean, we hear about it. But some of these, like, they've been doing it for like 40 years or 30 years, and it's like it doesn't matter. Obviously, they have the clientele, and they have I've said this a couple times in the last ones, the Burton Max. Everybody knows Burton Max, everybody knows where it is, everybody knows what they do because they've been around for 101 years. So they have that. But at a certain point, the young bucks like you and some of the other guys and girls that I've seen out are going to take that, and they need to watch for that, because we're in that business. We watch some of our competition and stuff like that. But if you're not changing and growing, if you're staying stagnant, you're going to lose 100%, no matter what you're doing. If you're flipping burgers, selling houses, doing marketing, or
gotta be willing to try new things.
playing wall ball, I don't know. I was trying to be funny there. But if you're stagnant, you're going to lose. You might not lose this second, but you'll lose in the long term of it, I think. And I mean, it's proven that you will. Look at big companies or even small companies. If you stay stagnant, you eventually become irrelevant, right?
Very true. So what do you think about like how the algorithms and things like that keep changing? Do you guys pay attention to that, or do you just keep going with what you're doing and just trust that it'll get to people if you
in
boost
social
it?
media?
Yeah.
And marketing and stuff? Whew, that's a good question. Do we trust the algorithms?
What do you think of it? Like, do you actually, when they say these new changes are happening, like, do you worry about it? Do you follow it, or do you just
we
keep
follow
going?
it very closely, and we analyze them, and we look at them, and we make changes on our business and how we're doing things to make up for that. But you don't always jump the gun. So there was some new social media platform or something that everybody was raving about.
Oh yeah, I
don't even know the
saw
name.
that pop
What was it
up.
called? Vero?
Yeah, it didn't happen, right?
It might take off, but
Yeah.
I'm not doing it, and the business isn't doing it, and we're not pushing it on pushing it. We're not letting what's the word here? Not pushing. Inviting it into our marketing packages till we know it's a proven product. And that hasn't proven itself yet. Facebook will always be around. Instagram will always be around. Snapchat, I mean, we have some young kids that work here. There was a time before Snapchat. I remember when it first, there was a time before Snapchat.
Too.
There was a time before Instagram.
Yeah.
But some of these, staples will always be there. But we look at them closely and we analyze them. But you can't make, some of these marketing companies or people in your world, or really any kind of, if you're selling anything, they jump the gun, and you can't, because it's not proven yet. Because if it's not proven and it fails, then what are you going to do? There's that one video thing that was around for a while, and then it failed, or got taken down or whatever. But people invested all their time into it, and now it's not here anymore.
Right.
YouTube is always going to be a thing. Amazon is always going to be a thing. We just look at them closely, and we always test things on our own personal brands too, which is something that we do here. Instead of testing it on customers, we'll test it on ourselves.
That's good.
Yeah, so if anybody sees my Matt Gillen ads, there's a reason that you're seeing those, because we're testing. It's not because I want people to see this ugly mug all the time. You test them, and then we know what works, and then we implement those into all of our customers. I mean, we have 400 customers, so we're not going to just test something and hopefully it works. We're going to make sure that it works. We have we go into our numbers of every customer. We have analytics. We have a gentleman moving from Edmonton to come just do our SEO for websites and break those kind of numbers down. We're working with a company that, Silicon Valley, San Francisco kind of thing, that's going to help us with the actual breaking down businesses into those numbers, because this is going to be big. At the end of the day, when you understand the numbers of a business better than that business, then they need you. And you know more about that said business than the CEO or the people working in that business, and that's the idea. Not to hold it to you, but you can help them. Then you can actually make real changes, and that's kind of what we're kind of going after. I mean, we're changing to more of a digital marketing agency. Well, we are a digital marketing agency instead of just relying on the tangibles and stuff like that, because that world is changing, and we realize that before a lot of these other guys that in marketing and screen printers and embroidery shops or whatever that have that. You need to change, and it's changing to this stuff right here and this stuff right here and to this. It's not changing to the
paperless
to the flyers that you put on your door.
Yeah.
It's not changing to throwing out hats that have your logo on them. It's changing to digital. Everybody's on it.
Yeah.
It's changing to voice. It's changing to that kind of stuff, and we're experimenting with some Spotify ads and stuff like that. So.
Well, that's how I even found you. Like, I was on Instagram. I think you liked some of my pictures. I liked some of your pictures.
And then we ran into each other at Bread, Milk, and Honey. Actually, I was in a meeting with Mark from Advertise, and you were in a meeting.
Yeah.
And I think you walked by and you were like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hey," and yeah.
I was like, I know you.
Yeah.
We're friends.
Yeah, we're friends.
Say hi.
And then we talked about some marketing and how you were doing yours, and you were liking what we were kind of doing, because at the end of the day, a widget's a widget, and I'll take ideas from you and you can take ideas from me, and they just work, right? Because you're doing different stuff than all these Sally Sosos and Joe Blows that are doing the cookie cutter stuff, and so are we as an agency too. I hope, and we don't just do these podcasts and the vlogs and Adam's videos and Erica's photos, and Keegan's doing his own videos, and Kenzie's doing photos and social media and everything, and Josh's websites, and God, if I forget someone here, Dax is doing sales, but everybody's working on their own personal brand too, and that's what everybody in the office is doing. And I think that companies should allow that, within their business, because like you said, you need a personal avenue, and Snapchat is yours. You need people, like, as soon as you meet someone, you're on their Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you're searching everything to find out who they are. And when you hire people,
you can find everything.
Yeah. Keegan is standing behind camera A here, and I think we just looked at his resume not that long ago, because I don't look at that, but we as a company looked at his Instagram and his Facebook, and that's what, if you're out partying and all the time, you don't want that necessarily to represent your business. You don't want that to kind of be the first image that people see when they, search something.
Yeah, just want to represent yourself well
and the company well.
Put your best foot forward, and representing your company responsibly.
One of actually, you know what? Keegan actually said this, and this was actually really cool that he said this. He said every morning he wakes up, not saying that anyone on the staff and that anyone else hasn't said this, but I'm just using him because I remember him saying it. He wakes up and he looks in the mirror and he knows that he is representing his family name, himself, and the company, which is pretty cool. Every day that you're out there, you're representing those, no matter what you're doing. If it's Saturday night and you're having fun with your friends, or if you're just walking into, a coffee shop meeting somebody else. I mean, you're representing those things no matter where you are. Everybody's looking at people now. Yeah. Everybody's snooping. Everybody's looking at their Instagram stories.
Yeah, somebody could recognize you, so you have to make sure that you're not saying anything bad. If anyone can overhear your conversation.
If you say anything bad, it blows up.
Anyone can recognize your face.
Oh yeah, and your voice.
Yeah.
And your voice, because now this is going to be, on Apple Podcasts and Anchor and YouTube and stuff like that. And I hope people are starting to recognize my voice and then your voice too. But everything is out there. You have to be careful about that stuff. Even your little personal stuff, people still look at that stuff for sure, 100%. Screenshot an ugly thing.
True.
But I'm getting told here by our directors that we have a last few minutes. So I guess I want to end this with our last thoughts. And I know I keep jumping over, but I know that maybe you have some questions that you want to ask before because you did say the one, how we met, and what was the last one?
What was it? Oh, I was just asking about the algorithm.
The algorithm, yeah. See, that was a good question. I wasn't even ready for that one. Even Mark didn't ask that question. Mr. Numbers himself didn't ask me that one. Mark, if you're watching.
Are you going to branch out into other cities, or is
100%,
your...
100%,
Okay.
100%. We are just here because we can work anywhere. Went to Mexico for a week and we worked. You don't stop. We want to be the biggest that we can be. We want to be the biggest agency we can be and represent some of the biggest brands that we can get. And we have 10 or 11 people now, and by Christmas we want to have 20, and just keep growing that way. And everybody has their specialty, and I surround myself with people that are smarter than me. And that's from the smartest person one of the smartest people I've ever met said that to me, and I believe that 100%, because you don't know everything. Even you in your world, if there's an idea that... I don't feel
like I know anything.
Well, you obviously know something.
Yeah.
But if we can help you as an agency, I mean, you see all these companies with good ideas and stuff. They didn't come up with those. It was an agency that came up with those. A lot of the things are changed differently than what you originally see anyways. All these good ideas that you see from some of the people in your world and stuff, those are ideas that were thrown on a table.
Yeah.
And then they went with it. Is there, I keep getting the nods here. Was there anything else that you wanted to say about what you're doing? Obviously we need to do some plugs. We need to put her Instagram and Facebook and stuff here. But make sure you follow her, check out what she's doing. Do you have an open house or anything?
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sundays, always Saturdays and Sundays?
Yeah, come to Coaldale anytime.
Yeah.
190 Westgate Drive.
Do you guys give out like Oreos or anything?
I have popsicles, actually. Ooh. Popsicles are in right
Freezies?
now. Yeah.
Or like the two stick ones where you pull them and one ends up landing on your white shirt.
No,
I hate those ones.
Not those.
Oh, the freezy ones?
Yeah, like the good ones.
Nice.
The ones that are kid friendly. So they're safe.
They're safe?
They're safe. They're not gonna spill everywhere because they're for kids.
Oh, are they the twist ones?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Those are from the 90s. Do you guys remember those? The twist. They were like tubes, and you twisted them, and they were two. Erica knows what I'm talking about. Kenzie, the twist. Do you know what I'm talking about? They were freezy and the twist, and these two don't know what we're talking about. All right. Thank you, and I guess that's how I basically ended all of them. Do you want to clap? Was that a good end, or do you want another one? Because we can edit that. It's up to you guys. Good? Kenzie, you got everything you needed?
It's all about the clap.
It is about the clap.